other speakers and leaders, and with all of you. As you heard, I'm the inaugural Resilience Officer for Washtenaw County, and in that role I have an ambitious remit, which is to be implementing the Resilient Washtenaw Plan, bringing us to county operations being carbon neutral by 2030 and county-wide carbon neutrality by 2035. That is the top level of the plan that includes 8 strategies, 6 principles woven through all of those, 45 individual actions, and hundreds of metrics and individual measures. Well, none of that really talks about why I do this work, and that's what I got to talk about. So I'm going to try to tell you a version of my story, and I won't give away the middle, but like it changed a little bit recently. So it's a story that I've told before, but again, stories are rivers, they're never quite the same, I think, especially if you tell them right. So I was raised in a small community in upstate New York in the town of Cooperstown. Some of you may have been there. It's 2,000 people in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And I was raised in a bar. We owned an apartment. We lived above in an apartment until I was about 8. And when we sold it, my dad went back to teaching, and my mom became the director of a nonprofit, and then became the director of the Chamber of Commerce. And they were deeply engaged in our community, in everything that we did. And as I was getting ready to leave high school, I had the realization that no matter what happened to my family, my immediate family, I would always be able to go home. That there was a sense of network and a sense of support, that no matter what happened, that was as far as I could fall, was into this network of support in my community. And that sense drove me to feel like I needed to go as far as I could, as hard as I could, to see what could happen to recreate and to foster those sense of community and support in all places. And my career started in a pathway that went into international development, but kind of meandered in different ways, but really centered around the ideas of community and of service. And in the last 15 years, after coming to Ann Arbor, and eventually I settled in Ipsy, which I love, I started doing climate change adaptation work with a background in urban planning, and found that climate adaptation work and climate resilience work is something in the space of what I call pragmatic optimism. It is seeing the change that is with us and the change that is coming, and saying, what do we need to do to be prepared for the impacts here today and to lessen the impacts in the future? And how do we see those who are most impacted, put them first, and drive our work forward towards them and with them? I've had the opportunity to work on the District Climate Action Plan and its Land Sustainability Plan in the city of Ann Arbor as a technical advisor on their climate action plan. And I was working nationally and globally until last year when this position was posted to become the Resilience Officer for Washtenaw County. And I knew I was going to be full of opinions about whoever got the job, so I thought best I apply, at least. And I had the opportunity to be interviewed, and then I had the opportunity to be offered the job. When I was offered the job last April, it came almost on the same day that I found out that my dad was diagnosed with cancer. And he had a very short sickness and passed away in July. And I spent a lot of time home in New York in the last year. And it's really given me an opportunity to ask that question again of what does it mean to weave a community where the lowest somebody can fall is at a place that they know they'll be held by the community where they live. And what does it look like for me in my work to bring that sense of community and connection into our climate space? Coming into this role, there's so much work to be done through Resilient Washtenaw. But none of that work happens by the county alone. It happens by seeing the work from the state, from our regional partners, from Scioto Township, Pittsfield Township, out to Manchester, Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, and knowing that if we're going to change everything, we will need everyone. And at a time when when I've seen a lot of things that I've built in my career, from the National Climate Assessment to the American Climate Corps to climate centers being attacked or destroyed, being in a role right now where I can, the saying that I love is to tend the garden you can touch. And I feel that so deeply. And I feel so supported, and I feel so grateful that at a time when there are great challenges, that I am in a great community and I'm doing work that I love and work that I know is meaningful to me and to the people that I'm serving.